You think if she's falling hard for you, she'll make it simple. But the truth is, the deeper it gets, the less obvious it can look at first. You think strong feelings always create clear signals. Sometimes they do, but sometimes strong feelings create caution, hesitation, restraint, and a kind of quiet intensity that only a grounded man knows how to read. If you need this kind of truth, subscribe now because you do not need more fantasy. You do not need more cheap advice teaching you how to chase, decode, or manipulate. You need reminders that bring you back to reality. You need clarity when your ego wants certainty and your loneliness wants to turn every little sign into a love story. If you don't keep hearing the truth, you will start confusing emotional noise with real connection, and that mistake will cost you your peace. So let's frame this correctly. Here's what it really means when she likes you too much and is secretly falling hard for you. It does not mean she loses control. It does not mean she becomes easy to read. It does not mean she instantly hands you full access to her heart. What it means is your presence has started affecting her internally. You are no longer just a conversation. You are no longer just an option. You are becoming a psychological and emotional reference point. She is thinking about you in your absence. She is feeling your impact after the moment is over. She is trying to manage what your presence stirs in her. That is different. The misconception is this: if she really likes you, she will be straightforward, constant, available, obvious, and effortless. The hard truth is no. Real emotion often creates complexity before it creates clarity. Why? Because when someone starts genuinely caring, the stakes rise. And when the stakes rise, people become more careful, more self-aware, more protective, more exposed. That's called emotional risk, and most men are too impatient to understand it. So what do? They overreact. They see one strong sign and get drunk on possibility. They start texting too much, talking too much, pushing too fast, reaching for definitions too early, trying to lock down what should have been allowed to unfold. And the moment they do that, they change the energy. They stop being the man she was drawn to and become the man who is trying to secure her before the connection has matured. That's called self-sabotage. Why does this happen? Root cause. Because most men are not actually reading women. They are reading their own hunger, their own anxiety, their own need for validation. They don't want truth. They want relief. They don't want to observe. They want reassurance. So they take intensity and treat it like certainty. They take chemistry and mistake it for commitment. They take attention and call it loyalty. And because they are so desperate to know where they stand, they end up standing nowhere at all. And what does that cost you? It costs you your center, your discernment, your standards, your mystery, your emotional leverage over yourself. You stop observing and start performing. You stop listening and start filling the silence. You stop letting her reveal herself and start trying to force clarity out of pressure. You stop being grounded, you become reactive. And reactivity is expensive. It makes you sloppy. It makes you easy to read in the worst way. It makes you emotionally cheap. So reframe it. If she likes you deeply, secretly, intensely, your job is not to squeeze certainty out of her. Your job is to stay steady enough to let reality show itself. Not fantasy, not fear, reality. A woman falling hard is not something you manage with tricks. It is something you meet with presence, patience, and self-respect. That is the frame. Hold it. Now let's go deeper. One of the clearest signs she likes you more than she's saying is that she starts reacting to you in ways that are stronger than the situation should require. She remembers your tone. She replays your words. She notices small shifts in your attention. She feels your absence more than she expected. Why? Because once emotion enters the room, your behavior carries extra weight. To everyone else, it's just a message. To her, it lands differently. To everyone else, it's just a glance. To her, it lingers. That is what emotional investment does. It amplifies meaning, but this is where you need discipline. Do not become arrogant because you affect her. Do not become careless because you feel her leaning in. A weak man gets attention and becomes theatrical. A strong man gets attention and becomes more measured. He understands that influence is not a license to play games. It is a responsibility to stay clean in his energy. Another sign is that she tries to control how much she reveals while still finding ways to stay connected. That contradiction matters. She may not confess, she may not be overly direct, she may even act composed, detached, or playfully guarded, but she keeps the line open. She checks in. She responds with more depth than necessary. She finds reasons to continue a thread that could have ended. Why? Because silence becomes harder when someone is taking up real space in your mind. This is where desperate men ruin everything. They interpret continued contact as permission to flood the space. They overshare, they overtext, they overinvest before the moment earns it. Slow down. If she is trying to stay connected, let her. You do not need to sprint toward every opening like a man afraid the door will close forever. That fear is what closes it. Another sign she is secretly falling is that she becomes more aware of herself around you. Listen carefully. This does not always look like confidence. Sometimes it looks like composure with tension underneath. Sometimes it looks like more eye contact, then less. More warmth, then a little distance. More curiosity, then a moment of restraint. Why? Because when a woman starts caring, you stop being neutral. Now your opinion matters more. Your perception matters more. The moment matters more. And people become more self-conscious around what matters. Again, do not romanticize every nervous laugh and every pause like a man starving for proof. Stay sober, but understand this. Indifference is usually relaxed. Real interest often has charge in it. Some women get softer, some get sharper, some get playful, some get guarded. But the common thread is this: your presence changes her baseline. Another sign is that she starts investing in details, not just surface conversation, not just light banter. She wants to know how you think, what shaped you, what you value, what you tolerate, what you're building. Why? Because attraction wants access, but deeper emotion wants orientation. She is no longer just asking if you're interesting. She's asking, consciously or not, who you are and whether there is somewhere real to place her trust. That matters. Because when a woman only wants attention, she stays on the surface. When she starts falling, she becomes more alert to substance. She watches how you handle frustration. She notices whether your words match your actions. She pays attention to your pace, your restraint, your standards, your emotional steadiness. Why? Because now the question is bigger. Not, can he entertain me? But can I feel safe respecting this man? That is a different level entirely. And here is where the word too much needs to be understood correctly. If she likes you too much, it does not mean she becomes irrational and drops all standards. If that happens, that's not depth, that's instability. Real depth usually makes a woman more careful, not less. More observant, not less. More emotionally affected, yes, but also more protective of how exposed she becomes. That's called self-preservation. Respect it. Another sign is that she starts making emotional room for you before she verbally admits it. She adjusts her schedule. She creates availability. She keeps your conversations alive in her head. She remembers what you said last week. She brings up things that mattered to you. She notices patterns in you. Why? Because when someone is falling for you, you stop being an event and start becoming part of their inner world. And once you enter someone's inner world, your significance shows up in small continuity, memory, follow through, attention, emotional tracking. Do you see how different that is from cheap attraction? Cheap attraction is hot and loud and unstable. It wants stimulation. It wants a hit. It wants a rush. But deeper attachment has memory. It has care in it. It has observation in it. It has emotional continuity. That's how you know there is weight. Another sign is that your approval starts mattering more than she wants it to. Not in a childish way, not in a performative way, but she notices how you see her. She notices when you affirm something meaningful. She notices when you pull back. She notices when you stay calm instead of chasing. Why? Because once she starts valuing you, your perspective gains emotional gravity. And that can be both exciting and unsettling for her. Now, hear this clearly. If her feelings are growing, your job is not to exploit that. Your job is to deserve it. Big difference. Any fool can enjoy influence. A man of character knows influence tests him too. Will you become manipulative or will you become more honest? Will you start playing hot and cold because you know she cares? Or will you stay grounded enough to let your consistency speak? That choice tells the truth about your masculinity. Another sign she is falling hard is that she begins to compare, maybe silently, maybe unconsciously, but once a woman feels the difference between a man with presence and a man with performance, the contrast gets louder. Other men may seem noisier, more needy, more eager, more shallow. Why? Because real masculine groundedness exposes imitation. Once she has felt calm strength, chaos becomes easier to recognize. Once she has felt a man who does not rush to impress, overcompensation starts looking obvious. This is why you must never compete for attention like a boy. The man who stands out is usually not the loudest. He is the clearest. He is not trying to win every room. He is simply not leaking himself all over the room. He is composed. He is intentional. He is not selling. He is standing. And that is rare now. Picture that man. He does not stare at his phone waiting for signs. He does not build his emotional state around her mood. He does not become inflated when she leans in or shattered when she pulls back for a moment. He has a life. He has discipline. He has mission. He has standards. He listens more than he performs. He notices more than he assumes. He does not chase because he is not starving. He does not beg for clarity because he respects timing. He does not confuse chemistry with destiny. He lets actions prove what words hint at. He stays warm but never needy, open but never loose, interested but never uncentered. That is the man she falls hard for. Not because he is playing a role, but because his self-respect makes emotional safety possible. Be that man, and let's go one level deeper. Sometimes when she likes you too much, she may not look more available right away. She may actually become more careful, more selective, even a little more inconsistent in the beginning. Why? Because real feelings can trigger fear. Fear of rejection, fear of misreading the connection, fear of wanting more than is safe, fear of losing composure. So yes, sometimes the woman who feels the most is not the one who moves the fastest. She may test the emotional ground before she steps more fully onto it. But there is a line. A mature man understands nuance without becoming delusional. He can recognize that caution exists. He can recognize that feelings can create restraint. But he does not romanticize endless confusion. He does not chase mixed signals for months and call it depth. He does not excuse inconsistency forever because he wants the story more than the truth. That's called self-deception. Kill it. So what do? Do this. Stay present. Stay relaxed. Stay observant. Let her invest. Let her reveal. Let her come toward clarity at her own pace, but make sure there is a pace. Stop forcing. Stop over-texting. Stop trying to secure certainty every time she goes quiet for a minute. Stop acting like every emotional fluctuation is a crisis. Redirect your energy into your body, your work, your purpose, your structure, your peace. Do this. Speak clearly, move slowly, mean what you say less, but make it land. Hold your boundaries. Reward consistency. Withdraw from confusion if confusion becomes the pattern. Give warmth, not worship. Give attention, not surrender. Give honesty, not performance. You stop crowding the space. You stop filling every silence. You stop auditioning for reassurance. You stop handing your self-respect to possibility. That's called masculine composure. Do this. Watch whether she remembers. Watch whether she returns. Watch whether she makes room. Watch whether your absence registers. Watch whether her curiosity deepens into care. Watch whether her words start matching her investment. Patterns, not isolated moments. Reality, not fantasy. Because the real point of understanding female psychology is not to gain control over women. Throw that garbage away. The real point is to understand emotional dynamics well enough that you stop humiliating yourself with neediness. You stop misreading noise as meaning. You stop trying to force what should be revealed through time, consistency, and presence. That is self-reclamation. That is power with integrity. And if she is secretly falling hard for you, the strongest thing you can do is not to collapse into ego. It is to become even more anchored, more honest, more disciplined, more respectful of the connection, and more respectful of yourself. Because if you lose yourself the moment you feel chosen, then you were never grounded to begin with. So remember this: when she likes you deeply, you will often feel it before you can fully label it. It shows up in her attention, her memory, her restraint, her emotional sensitivity to your presence, her curiosity about your inner world, her investment in small details, her subtle desire to stay connected, and the way your absence starts to matter. Those are signs, real signs. But signs are not permission to abandon your standards. They are reasons to hold them tighter. You are not here to beg for love. You are not here to extract certainty from every look, every text, every pause. You are not here to perform your way into someone's heart. You are here to become a man whose presence is calm enough, clear enough, and real enough that the right woman feels safe falling without you ever needing to force it. You are the answer. Not the anxious version of you, not the overeager version of you, not the version that needs to be constantly reassured to stay steady. You, grounded, disciplined, observant, boundaried, clear. The man who can recognize genuine feeling without becoming ruled by it. The man who can hold emotional intensity without losing his center. The man who understands that the deepest attraction is not created by pressure, but sustained by self-respect. Subscribe if you want more truth like this, because the world will keep feeding you fantasy, and fantasy makes men weak. Come back here when you need your judgment sharpened. Come back here when you need clarity over confusion. Come back here when you're ready to stop chasing signs and start becoming the kind of man worth falling hard for. You belong with men who choose discipline over desperation, reality over illusion, and self-respect over emotional chaos.